Could the biggest illusion in your life be the thing you see every single day? You see the horizon as straight. You see the ground stretching out. You feel it stable beneath your feet. But what if that feeling is natural and wrong at the same time? Today, we'll do something different. We won't rely on opinions or on a single image. We'll gather evidence from multiple angles, from everyday observation, from history, from physics, from travel, from modern technology, and we'll see whether all these paths lead to just one conclusion. We will answer clear questions. Why do ships disappear in a specific way? Why do the stars change from one place to another? Why do navigation systems work with such precision? What shape does gravity naturally create? And can a flat surface explain all these phenomena at the same time? If the Earth were flat, this idea must explain everything. If it fails to explain even one phenomenon, then the problem is not with the phenomenon, but with the idea itself. Let's begin with a scene that happens in front of our eyes every day. When a ship moves away across the sea, what exactly happens? It doesn't simply shrink. It doesn't disappear all at once. The lower part vanishes first, then the middle, then the top. This is not random disappearance. It is a consistent, predictable pattern. The only explanation for this sequence is curvature that hides the lower parts before the higher ones. If the surface were flat, the entire ship would remain visible until it became extremely small. But that is not what happens. Now we move to evidence that can be measured precisely, not just observed, at two different locations on Earth. At the same moment, sunlight can arrive at different angles. When the sun is directly overhead in one place, it is tilted in another. This difference in angle can be measured mathematically, and from it, the curvature of the surface can be calculated. If the surface were flat, sunlight would strike every place at the same angle at the same time. But real measurements show different angles. And one conclusion: the surface is curved. Now lift your eyes to the sky. As you travel north or south, you do not see the same stars. Some stars gradually disappear. Others appear in their place. The change is not sudden. It is smooth and consistent with distance traveled. This cannot be explained on a flat surface, because the viewing angle would not change so dramatically between 2 points on a plane. But on a curved surface, your angle of view to space changes continuously. Even the moon provides repeatable evidence. During a lunar eclipse, Earth's shadow on the moon is always circular. Not oval, not straight, but perfectly round every time. The only shape that produces a circular shadow from every direction is a sphere. Now we leave the sky and return to Earth. This time with ocean travelers. When approaching land from open sea, the highest peaks appear first, then elevated land, then low shorelines. The order is consistent, unpredictable. If the surface were flat, the entire coastline would appear at once. But gradual appearance means part of the surface is hidden behind curvature. If a traveler continues in one direction long enough, they can return to their starting point from the opposite direction. Any object with enough mass becomes spherical, because gravity redistributes its material until balance is reached. If a planet the size of Earth were flat, gravity across it would be unstable. Material would shift until a balanced shape formed, meaning a sphere. Now we step into modern technology, where guesses do not survive. Navigation systems that locate you precisely rely on distances across a curved surface. Satellites orbit a center of mass, not a flat disk. Long-distance flight paths are calculated as arcs on a spherical surface, because they are the true shortest routes. Time zones exist because a curved surface rotates relative to the sun. These systems do not work because we believe in them. They work because they produce correct, testable results. If the model were wrong, the calculations would fail immediately. Some may say the curvature cannot be seen easily. That is true, because the planet is enormous compared to us. But visibility is not the only proof of existence. We do not see gravity, yet we measure its effects. We do not see magnetic fields, yet we use them. Science depends on repeatable results, not visual impressions alone. Now let's gather the evidence into one clear picture. Ships disappearing in sequence indicates curvature. Different sun angles between locations indicates a non-flat surface. Changing stars with location indicates changing viewing angles on a curved surface. Circumnavigation of the globe indicates a closed surface. Laws of gravity naturally produce a sphere. Navigation and modern technology operate accurately using a spherical model. Each of these pieces of evidence stands independently, yet all lead to the same conclusion. Here lies the decisive point. The strength of the conclusion is not in one example, but in the agreement of all evidence without contradiction. If we try to explain these phenomena with a flat model, we must invent separate assumptions for each case, but the spherical model explains them all with one principle. This is what defines a strong scientific explanation with the fewest assumptions. It explains the greatest number of facts. In the end, the horizon may appear straight, but this is a local appearance on a massive surface. We are a small part of a system far larger than our field of vision. You are not standing on an endless flat plane. You are standing on a complete world. Unified, curved, rotating quietly through space, carrying everything we know on its surface. When observation agrees with measurement, and measurement agrees with physics, and physics agrees with reality, the conclusion becomes clear. The Earth is not flat. The Earth is a spherical world, and we live on its surface, without feeling its curvature, because we are part of it. And now, the question is no longer what shape the Earth is. The real question is, how can one simple idea explain so much of reality with such precision? This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a deeper understanding of the world we live on.